The year is 2001, and it is the absolute best time to be a kid. iPods were released this year, and they were freaking awesome. SpongeBob was still actually good. Everybody would go outside and ride bikes around the cul-de-sac, and Nintendo was hitting heaters left and right with the GameCube and Game Boy Advance. There were so many magical things happening in the early 2000s, from cartoons to video games, and for many, one of those magical things was the release of a brand new franchise called Pikmin. I was not one of those people. Yeah, I have never played a Pikmin game before. I know. And despite the fact that it's one of Nintendo's most beloved series that sits at the top of the real-time strategy genre, there are so many other people like me who completely missed it when it first launched. Pikmin fans have been waiting for this game for 10 years, getting stomped over and over throughout the game's development lifecycle as it slowly faded away into the realm of vaporware. Just like the joy you felt 20 years ago, faded away knowing you're going to be farming a 9 to 5 for the next 40 years. But this all changed when Pikmin Papa Miyamoto-san blasted into the September 22 Direct and announced his new shirt. After such a long wait, allegedly, we finally got to experience a game that, for me, is a refreshing change of pace. One with simple but addicting mechanics, beautiful environments, engaging puzzles, and the cutest goddamn doggy in video game history. Having finally busted my first Pikmin nut, I can say with full confidence that 5-year-old me was a fucking dumbass, because this game is abso-fruitly overpowered. Pikmin 4 starts out somber and slow, with the player taking control of Olimar, who 22 years later still cannot pilot a spaceship properly, and crashed into a strange, mysterious planet called PNF 404. After eventually finding a ship's missing radio, Olimar is able to send out an SOS signal to the Rescue Corps, an intergalactic organization specializing in complex recovery missions, who then also crash into the planet. Who's funding this? Naturally, in this extremely dire situation, the Corps assigns the literal newest recruit, your boy, with the task of investigating the planet, locating the missing members as well as any additional castaways in order to recover the ship's fuel by collecting treasures and eventually rescuing Olimar. There's not a crazy amount to unpack here, but the beauty of the game is not in the story itself, instead being conveyed by the vibrant, detailed environments you explore with your army of Pikmin. Unfortunately, you have to wait a pretty long time before you're able to get there though. For the first couple hours, this game is painfully slow. The stupid characters will stop you to explain every single piece of information and story beat possible, blasting you with a full frontal assault of dialogue every few steps. This, compounded with the insanely long load times between levels, completely biffs the pacing, taking away from the excitement of discovery present throughout the rest of the story. But once you break free from the Chick-fil-A drive-through line of a tutorial area and finally jump into the world, this game's charm starts to really shine. You travel to a small park, a beach with a giant sandcastle, a literal first floor of a house. These settings would normally be so uninteresting and mundane, but become that much more exciting when experienced from the perspective of the tiny Pikmin people. Wires become rails you can grind across, small potted plants become insurmountable obstacles. It takes like 12 of your minions to transport one apple. This game is so creative in its ability to make these simple environments so fun to explore and interact with, encouraging the player to uncover every secret. And since I'm an actual animal when it comes to collectibles, you better believe I will. And since you mentioned it, the environments in Pikmin 4 look absolutely incredible, packed with so much thought and detail, mixing hyper-realistic landscapes with absurd enemy designs, like the groovy long legs, to create something so interesting and unique. There is so much effort put into everything throughout this game, from the vibrant colors to the careful animations, from the Easter eggs to the flavor text scattered all throughout the game. Like, look at the completed puzzle piece set. That's the dog from Nintendogs. And did you try interacting with the mechanical harps? This one plays the Song of Storms from Zelda. Like, what? There are probably so many references to past Pikmin games too, but, I don't know. You better believe that this detail extends to the sound design as well. And while it may not hit you with the razzle-dazzle as directly as other franchises, there are so many nuances seamlessly intertwined into the gameplay that lizard-brained couch mongrels like you probably didn't even notice. It sounds ridiculous, but there's something so satisfying and relaxing about slowing down and just observing the game's interactions unfold in front of you. Like listening to the footsteps of your Pikmin squadron moving over various terrain, or the adaptive musical shifts that occur when you encounter an enemy on the map. I want you to look me in my eye sockets and tell me you don't feel anything when a Pikmin makes its sad dying sound. It's amazing how much the developers were able to accomplish here with, 10 short years to work on it. But we haven't even talked about the gameplay. For a game that, on the surface, looks so childish and cute, Pikmin 4 can be downright brutal. Honestly, this game is not afraid to get fucking violent. Your Pikmin will be eaten, stabbed, incinerated, frozen, electrocuted, and just straight up obliterated non-stop. This game can reach Heisenberg levels of criminal.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
The name of the game here is Resource Management and Strategic Planning. Taking the battalion of Pikmin you have with you and drawing out the most amount of efficiency in solving puzzles and completing tasks. This sacred practice is known in Japan as Dandori. You're eased into this mindset with the Command Post tutorial, introducing only the most basic mechanics before firing you directly into the world. Underground caves, tower defense-oriented night expeditions, Dandori challenges and battles. There is a lot going on here, but Pikmin 4 is careful about introducing new mechanics without pushing them too far as to overwhelm the player. There are 9 types of Pikmin in this game, each with unique attributes that make them stronger in certain situations. You got the red Pikmin that are good at fighting and resist fire, the blue Pikmin which can breathe underwater, the new ice Pikmin which can freeze enemies dealing big Yoshi levels of damage. But all you really need to know is that the purple Pikmin are fucking overpowered, and you can pretty much just always use those. Yeah, you'll be taking out pyroclasmic slooches and mammoth snoot whackers lickety-split with these bad boys. Unfortunately, Pikmin 4 tends to be Weenie Hut Jr.'s level of easy.
I think you'd be more comfortable over at that place.
Weenie Hut Juniors!
Yeah, unless you think you're tough enough to fight me.
With the game recommending the best Pikmin for any given situation, and there being a literal rewind time mechanic that removes virtually any weight to your decision making. I mean, I can appreciate the fact that the game doesn't force you to play in any one way, but even your little brother can make it through the story without any help. Is what I would say, until you finish the main mission and enter the post-game. Pikmin 4 made a pretty bold move here, introducing literally all of the most fun pieces of content at the very end of the game. After you rescue Olimar and get the fuck out of there, the game goes straight up sicko mode, introducing 2 new areas to explore, a new main story involving curing Oatchi so he can leave with you, a true final boss, and, most importantly, 2 incredibly fun challenges, Olimar's Shipwreck Tale and the Trial of the Sage Leaf. The first allows you to play through Olimar's story, visiting altered versions of the first 4 areas to collect his ship parts within a 15-day time limit, calling back to the first Pikmin game. Again, not that I would know or anything. The second is unlocked once you finish Olimar's Tale, throwing you into a balls-to-the-wall gauntlet of 10 unique trials testing your devotion to Dandori. You'll have to clear out enemies, collect treasures, overcome puzzles, fucking become the Hokage. It's amazing how quickly this tranquil, serene game turns into a straight-up war, especially if you're only going for platinum medals, which I did. Alright, I think I've beat around the bush long enough. We gotta talk about Oatchi. Oatchi is literally everything I have ever wanted out of a video game all at once. He's cute, he one-shots enemies, he can carry all of the Pikmin, he can smash obstacles, he can eat pretty much everything, you can control him. Oatchi is the best. I love Oatchi. Oatchi almost single-handedly makes this game what it is. And that is why I've sacrificed hundreds of Pikmin to make sure he never died once throughout my salty spittoon, eating nails without any milk playthrough of this game. This is one of those rare moments where Nintendo goes against everything they believe in and actually make a good decision that the entire fanbase universally loves. And then they go and take the most fun concept introduced in this game, Dandori battles, and not implement any way to play it online. Now that's the Nintendo I know. Pikmin 4 is a complete dick with how many things you have to find in order to achieve 100%. Each action you take is tracked methodically by the game, constantly throwing numbers at you like your goddamn Dexter's Lab, so you know exactly where you stand at any given point in time. On paper, it's like a 100%er's wonderland. But that being said, this game really begins to feel like you complete it just for the sake of completing it, arbitrarily crossing item after item off of a checklist almost robotically once you reach the end of the game. There are pretty much no completion rewards in Pikmin 4, other than a few pieces of gear and the satisfaction of devoting yourself completely to the art of Dandori. But what's the alternative? Staring at a number less than that mouth-watering 100%? Yeah, pass! So let's talk about what a true 100% looks like in this game. First things first, there are a total of 6 areas to explore, 4 in the main game and an additional 2 unlocked in the post-game. Each area has a certain amount of rescues to conduct, treasures to collect, and onions to locate. In addition to your standard investigations, the 6 main areas can also be explored at night, with varying amounts of combat-oriented tower defense challenges to complete in each one. As you explore new areas and rescue crewmates and leaflings, Oatchi will gain Pup Drive, allowing Shepard to teach and improve various skills to make him literally overpowered. Once you unlock all of Oatchi's standard skills, Shepard will teach Oatchi the final, ultimate secret skill, Infinite Rush. This enables Oatchi to rush endlessly, making traversal a lot quicker than normal, and when mastered, will also initiate you into the Shepard way. You'll also be tasked with collecting 1,000,000 treasures in order to gain the Sparklium necessary for navigating each of the areas and eventually making it home. Although the treasure catalog counts a total of 239 treasures in the game, broken up into 34 unique series, you'll actually have to collect a tasty 410 individual pieces, since many of the entries are made up of multiple items. Once you finish a series, you'll be rewarded with a medal, netting you an additional completion bonus of Sparklium, and a bonus catalog entry that shows each treasure in the set together. This took so much time. There's also a Piclopedia, which tracks and analyzes every species you interact with throughout the game. There's actually a bunch of fun information here, with each entry having a scientific name, some notes from Dalmo Olimar and fucking idiot Louie, and even the option to engage with each creature. Moving right along, Russ is the Rescue Corps' nerd, who will develop new pieces of useful gear and consumable items as you progress through the story. He accepts materials in exchange for his inventions, and once you purchase all of them, you unlock the Plucking Whistle. For 240 more materials. Scumbag. Now the best part. In order to fully embrace the art of Dandori, you will need to complete various Dandori challenges and battles throughout each area. There are 12 Dandori challenges and 6 Dandori battles, all of which have 4 ranks based on your efficiency in collecting treasures or the difference in score between you and the computer, ranging from bronze to platinum. Of course, I got platinum in all of them. As you complete each aspect of the game, your tablet will fill out naturally as well. There are a total of 6 main missions to complete, 70 side missions unlocked by speaking to the rescued castaways, including 2 side missions that are repeatable and can never be fully completed, 52 ID badges to collect, a rescue journal consisting of 12 tips and tricks, 9 Captain's Diary entries, and 9 Shepard family history entries, and finally a voyage log, with 80 total entries from Olimar's adventures on the planet prior to getting shipwrecked, and 20 post-game entries from Louie that are absolutely absurd. Ooh, secret goodies! If you speak to Puddle after rescuing 10 leaflings and completing their side mission, you'll be able to change your appearance to that of a leafling, letting you choose between various facial features and leaf colors. Speaking to Olimar with Oatchi's super buff pup skill level 3 unlocked, he'll teach the swallow technique, letting Oatchi eat almost any item in the game. Next up, completing the side mission Music of a Past Culture 3 which requires you to complete the entire set of soulful musician treasures, you unlock the lineup trumpet as a reward, which allows you to control your Pikmin in a specific formation with ZL. And finally, completing all of Louie's Fit for a Feast missions in the postgame will unlock the extra hand gear, enabling the player to carry items equivalent to the strength of one Pikmin. Yikes. Endings! There are a total of 3 endings depending on criteria met during your playthrough, all of which are viewable in the gallery once you complete the main story. The standard ending of the game is unlocked when Olimar is rescued and the gang blasts off, only to learn that Oatchi cannot leave the planet. The heading home ending is the true ending of the game and is unlocked when the gang catches Louie, defeats the ancient Sirehound true final boss, and cures Oatchi. And finally, the SS Dolphin's heading home ending is identical to the true ending of the game, but if you complete Olimar's shipwrecked tale, the SS Dolphin joins the rescue corps on the trip back home. Olimar's shipwrecked tale also has 2 endings. Either you complete the story, locating all 30 ship parts within 15 days, and Olimar is able to escape, only to return because Moss was not able to leave with him, or you fuck up and don't. And last but not least, you have the Trial of the Sage Leaf. There are a total of 10 trials that eventually unlock the white and purple onions, all of which have a ranking when you complete them. And you better believe your boy got platinum on all 10. 100% completing this game took me about 42 hours. And to be completely honest, I wouldn't recommend doing so to anybody other than idiots like me. There really aren't any rewards that justify the time required to collect everything, but through my efforts, I was able to transcend mortality, only losing 600 Pikmin along the way. So, worth it. Pikmin 4 put a lot of expectations on itself with its outrageous development time. But even as someone who came into this game with none, I was immediately infatuated with what this game had to offer. I think there's something for both the longtime fans of the series and the new fans that picked up the game just because they saw Oatchi on the box, like me. And that's not something a lot of established franchises can say. Pikmin 4 might not have the most interesting story or the most groundbreaking mechanics, but once it got cooking, it nailed everything it set out to do. The presentation is immaculate, the gameplay is simple but addicting, the characters are expressive and alive, and most importantly, the developers' love and care is on full display in almost every aspect of the game. 8 out of 10, overpowered game, little bit less dialogue, please.